I wanted to make something clear to everyone who is within hearing of my voice. Please listen. If Jesus were a snob of a person, would he have been accused of being in the company of the people he was in the company of, having this conversation? Maybe not this way, but in his own way, as he did, as we do, as we will. So there is no judgment there. There's a time to learn and gain a particular structure that is in your own timing. I am not in control of that. Excuse me. I'm just here to encourage you forward as I do the same myself. I'm working on those things as well. Right? So I'm just trying to help out to show you, maybe a structure, not necessarily that you will follow, but you would give some consideration to. It might help. Yeah? And so Jehovah always tells us to work on our approach with people, right? This is my way. But if you know my heart and you know who I am as a person, you will understand the reasons why I become a different energy at different times, at different levels, with different people. There are reasons, genuine, truthful reasons why I'm responding that way. With all honesty, I can say I cannot help myself but to notice those things, and I happen to notice them beforehand. So by my innate nature, I am a co-talker. I am with a union, and I work peacefully and lawfully. A lot of which I do by myself. I am an example of being raised by my mother who did the same. I am a part of that process. No matter where I am, whether it be here or living in a mansion somewhere in Southern California, which, that's neither here or there, because I was in between a mansion and not so much the better part of town. There were problems where I was at with men and women, right? And children were there. I was an aunt by the time I was 9. I have 3 sisters. I have nieces and nephews in their 40s. My mother was older than my father. My mother dated younger men. I knew and met them all. They were not bad men. They chose bad women over my mom. She tried, and then when they tried to come back to then marry her, she was like, I'm on some other stuff. Because there's a lot of us, right? But I was working. I was being processed through a system that was unforgiving. You know how a mother will keep her children alive? Speak about a mother who doesn't eat so her children can. Talk about a mother who took a blow from my own father. She wore the scar above her eye because she was trying to protect bread that was just enough for my sisters, the kids, to have. And he was drunk and he was trying to eat the last of the bread, and he punched her in the eye because she took the bread, because she told him that the kids need this for lunch tomorrow. My dad liked to gamble. You know, he took a blow to his liver and wore a scar down the center of his chest because they had to cut him open to save his life. You know, a drinker bleeds out quickly. But my father was a good man. He was a bad drunk. And when you get around women who also are bad drunks, creates problems under a household that shouldn't be there. No matter if the man is married and he's having affairs all over the United States, or if he is whatever. The problem is you women who complain about the men that you take from other households only to treat them the same way you're treating the rest of the men in the community and the neighborhood. You're calling war down upon these black men's heads because they know they could have chosen better and now they want to come back. And the women are on a different path because we realize that sometimes we have to do things alone because the women are willing, through biblical history. Samson and Delilah is a great example of that. And then there's Potiphar's wife and Joseph leaving his garment behind because she was trying to pull him down on her bed because she wanted to have relations with him. Joseph was the King Potiphar's right-hand man. Do you know what that means? He tasted Potiphar's food before he ate it to make sure that he wasn't being poisoned, and he was also in charge of overlooking the food, so he was rationing out the food. Joseph was in an important position. He was entrusted with that. Jehovah put him there as reward because his brothers sold him into slavery wrongfully because they were jealous of him. And then they lied and put an animal's blood all over his garments and took it back to his father and told them that he had been ravished by a wild animal. But what they did is they sold him for tokens, things, which I have been wrongly incarcerated for once before. Someone told a lie. This woman who I had to beat down because she was in a position where I was a nanny for a friend of mine at the time, and she had children, and this woman brought her issues with the woman who I was a nanny for. She was having an affair with her husband, and her husband was incarcerated due to his wrongful position in the community. He was black, number one. She was white, number two. They had one mixed child. She had 2 white children from a previous relationship. I was their nanny. I'm upstairs with the mixed baby, getting him out of the bathtub. She's busy cleaning and getting her house ready. She's outside mowing her own lawn. Her man is incarcerated because he's twiddling around with this woman who comes over to her yard now because she's in a neighborhood. She's a neighbor. The same one that told my kid not to play with her kids. The same one that every time I seem to disappear, this woman wants to come around and cause problems at my job, number one, and number two, my friend's house. I'm working. There are children there. She's bringing all this noise over there, and so I'm upstairs with the baby, the youngest, getting him out, getting him clothed, getting him ready to get him down for bed, and the sun is starting to go down, and so my friend is out there trying to finish up her lawn. She has to because she's on housing. And here this woman is over here causing all of this ruckus, subjecting the children to losing their housing and all other types of things because the task force has already been there to arrest her husband, so she's got drama for stuff that he's doing in the neighborhood, including doing drugs with this woman. And so this woman is over here scatter-racking all of this crap, all in the neighborhood, all on the front porch, all on the lawn, out there harassing her. And I'm upstairs because it's a townhouse, and I'm dealing with the baby, and I'm trying to make sure that he's getting down and that he's safe and sound. So I tell his brothers to go upstairs and to go in the room with him. and don't let anybody in. And these boys were 7 and 9 at the time. I go downstairs and I tell my homegirl, she was mowing her lawn with a electric mower, so it was part plugged into the house. And this woman is literally following her around in the yard, yammering in her ear about a ring. Over a ring. She's fighting with she's arguing with my friend over a ring. So what she doesn't know is her husband took a ring that she knows about to give to her, and she told him to get that ring back from her and to bring her ring back. And he did that. And this chick comes over there, and now she wants to have an argument about this ring that she thinks is rightfully hers. My homegirl and I used to go shopping. My homegirl cooked. I cooked. This is a white girl. You wouldn't know any different. She cooked. We cooked. I cooked. My ex-husband used to come over there to pick up my son, and he used to eat the food that we cooked, that I cooked. People would come over there to eat. We used to have people come over there to eat. Parties to feed people. Community stuff. And housing knew about it. They knew that we were there. There was all different. We were taking care of people who needed to be taken care of, but she got caught up in other ways through other people. Having people up in there that should not have been up in there. And then so I came down on her, and it caused a division. Who was a division? Her man gets out of jail. Because I'm writing him to let him know that she's got people up in this house. The task force came to get him because the boyfriend that I had at the time was there visiting with me. Her husband gets out of jail and he runs to the house. My homegirl had some guy there who was wearing my homeboy's clothes, which would be her husband. Everything went wild because he came there with a knife and snuck in, and he's known for carrying knives. He's a martial artist. He carries weapons. He came there with a knife, and the guy that I was seeing at the time happened to walk out to go use the bathroom, and we didn't even know that he was in the house. He ninja'd this spot and was on top of the dude in the room. My homegirl standing there telling him no. The man that I was with walked into the room and said, "Bro, don't do it." He was getting ready to cut this dude's whole head off. And he meant it. He's not from the area where this situation happened. He is from Rhode Island. They're from the East Coast. He sounds like DMX. And that's what type of person he was. That's how he lived his life. He was in, everybody knew him type of a guy from the coast, from this coast to that coast. And I kept telling him, you can't come here with that mentality here. You're bringing wrong attention to yourself. You can't do that. You gotta lay low, right? He was wanted in other states off of child supports. That's why they kept coming to get him, kept coming to arrest him. And then you got these dudes coming in that now she's getting caught up in because she's trying to get attention. And I'm telling her no. And she doesn't like the fact that I'm telling her, your mom is going to have these kids, because her mom was already upset with her. Because her mom had asked me what was going on. And I'm telling her, she's telling me that she's going to work, but instead of going to work, she's going to see these men. And then sometimes these men are showing up when I'm upstairs sleeping in the room. I hear, all this laughing and stuff going on. All these different things are going on there.